While it may be known to some, a lot of people still aren't aware that prior to Borderlands 3's release, some of the Vault Hunters were actually going to have way different action skills to what they actually got in the final product. Of course, I'm talking about Zane and Amara, and this is courtesy of the behind the scenes content that was released in DLC 6. In this content, we got to see a lot of pre-release footage of the game showing off some things that didn't make the final cut, and one of the things that were in there were action skills. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get too much on these action skills, but there are still some cool things and gameplay that I'd like to show you guys. First, we have an action skill for Zane called the Reality Tunnel, which would let him teleport, as you can see in this gameplay right here. I'm unsure why this never made the full cut. I'd love to know Gearbox's reasoning from this, so if there are any devs watching, please leave a comment, because this looks really cool and I think it could have added a lot more movement and a lot more versatility to Zane as a character. Now, I could be wrong, but considering we also get gameplay of the clone and the Sentinel drone in this behind the scenes footage, I'm gonna guess that the Reality Tunnel was eventually replaced by the barrier, but in all honesty, I actually would have preferred the Reality Tunnel, as I feel like Zane's barrier kind of just makes the character way too easy, essentially giving him invulnerability in most cases, but the Reality Tunnel looks like it would have added a lot more to Zane's gameplay, making you more of a movement and tech expert, avoiding enemy bullets that way, and it also would have blended in well with skills like violent speed. I will also say it's slightly peculiar that we never saw this action skill when we finally got Zane's shoulder cannon, so I'm guessing there was another reason why this never made it into the final cut. Perhaps there was something really buggy about it that we just don't know about. Now, moving on to another character that we have pre-release gameplay of, and it's Amara, and she actually looked like she had a really complex set of action skills and just a playstyle as a whole before launch. One of Amara's action skills was called the phase dash, where she would quite literally phase dash towards an enemy and then strike them with another action skill. If that sounds confusing to you, that's because it kind of is. In this behind the scenes footage content that we see here, we find out that Amara actually had the ability to make her own action skill, and that's what we're seeing in that phase dash gameplay. She is phase dashing towards an enemy and then combining it with another action skill to make one massive action skill. Now, those of you that have played Borderlands 3 are probably already aware that this became the augment system, but it almost makes it seem here as though at one point this was Amara's ability. And I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like that a lot more than the augment system in Borderlands 3. Sure, it's cool and it's fun, but there's something more unique to me about a Siren being able to mash together action skills for one super attack. Giving it to every Vault Hunter to me just feels a little less unique, and while I don't hate it, I definitely would have preferred it if that was Amara's niche, just like Zane could have two action skills, Flack could have a pet, and Mo's got a literal mech. We can also see that in this gameplay, Amara had a ton of other action skills which were cut much like Zane's Reality Tunnel, such as the Phase Link, the Phase Melt, and the Phase Blast, which looks especially crazy. And while some of these were reworked into her current action skills, like the Phase Web being turned into ties that bind, there is a lot of stuff here on Amara that seemingly just didn't make the cut. And while other characters like Zane are quite interesting to look at and wonder what became of these action skills and the direction of the character overall, I think I'd really like to know more about Amara, because it definitely looks like Gearbox's plans for a Siren character in Borderlands 3 were initially really complex. But my gamers, that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know some of you maybe already knew about these cut action skills, but I wanted to show them off for those of you who had not seen these. So if you enjoyed that, let me know. Don't forget to hit like and sub to the channel if you want to stay up to date with new uploads, and I'll catch you in the next one.